U.S. Embassy in Manila, closing in July 2019. Currently making the rounds are rumors that the U.S. Embassy located in Manila is closing in July 2019. This rumor is absolutely false. The U.S. Embassy has no intention of closing or moving or curtailing any of its services. When embarking on the path to deal with U.S. immigration, to bring your fiancé or spouse to the USA, well, there's a lot of information on the internet. Sadly, there's a lot of bad and misinformation too. There are rumors, out-of-date material, and sometimes, well, deliberate lies and pranks. And that is why it's a good idea to work with an experienced guide who knows the facts and can certainly separate rumor from reality. And that's me. I am Fred Wahl, the VisaCoach. And I'm here to help you get through a confusing and frustrating immigration process so that you can have a happy life together in the USA with your foreign partner. Now in this video, I'll talk about, well, the background of what's really going on. And by the end of this video, you will know who is affected and who is not. About 2 months ago, I announced in one of my videos that the USCIS international offices scattered around the world were going to close. USCIS has been reducing its overseas presence, well, for many years. And currently, or at least when the notice was first made, they still had about 20 offices out there with about 70 American personnel, well, plus local staff. Their work was to support the U.S. Embassy where they were located in helping process applications that came from Americans and their dependents who were living outside the USA in the area that the U.S. Embassy served. This kind of service was called direct consular filing, DCF. And what DCF means is that Americans and their dependents who are living in the overseas country that the consulate served, well, if they are applying for immigration benefits, they could submit these applications, such as, well, spouse and dependent visas. They could submit their applications directly in person to a local USCIS office or the consulate, and thus avoided the expensive mailing going to the USA, and this greatly speeded processing times. For example, for an American expat living in the Philippines, well, if he or she had been granted an alien card by the Philippines government, and then had lived in the Philippines for at least, well, 6 months, then he or she could file directly to that USCIS office in Manila for his or her, well, spouse or child. The American could, well, make an appointment, come in, show proof of the alien card and his minimum 6 months of residence, and then drop off the application. In only a few short months, the USCIS office would complete their review of the application, then pass it over to the consular staff at the embassy. And the embassy staff would conduct, well, the final interview. Now, this was a real boon to those applicants because most applications are submitted in the USA and, well, they take about 1.5 years to be processed before they ever arrive in Manila for the final interview. Now, instead, the application filed using DCF, it short-circuits the system. It only takes a few months to get to that consular interview. Now, 20 years ago, when I applied to bring Joyce to the USA on a spouse visa, all U.S. embassies and consulates offered direct consular filing. I was living as an expat in Hong Kong with Joyce, and I was able to file directly to the Hong Kong embassy on Garden Road. And we got our spouse visa, well, in about 5 months. But as time has gone by, one by one, the various consulates and embassies have stopped offering DCF. Now finally, only 23 locations still offered it. And these were all locations that also had a USCIS office. Now that these USCIS offices are closing, with their closing, direct consular filing will no longer be available. So for most, the closing of the USCIS offices, well, makes absolutely no difference because only a very few applications were eligible for DCF. But the vast majority of all well, had to follow the normal route and be submitted in the States. And by the way, while this process was available for spouses and dependents, it was never available for fiancé visa applications. Always, fiancé visa applications had to be submitted in the USA, regardless of whether the American sponsor lived inside the USA or outside. So, the closing of the last USCIS international offices will, frankly, have little to no effect. Simply now, regardless of where an American sponsor lives, when he now applies, he will have to submit his application to USCIS offices in the USA. No longer can he just drop off the application at a local USCIS international office. Now, what caused the rumor that the U.S. Embassy in Manila is closing in July? Well, basically, people are misreading the headlines. The news announcements, the headlines in the Philippines press all say something like, USCIS closes Manila office. But somehow, people misread that statement and change it to U.S. Embassy closing Manila office. USCIS is closing its small office presence is certainly not the same as the whole U.S. Embassy closing. Now, USCIS, maybe for the confusion, did have some office space located inside the U.S. Embassy compound. There, a half a dozen American USCIS personnel and local Filipino supporting staff conducted USCIS business working on DCF applications. But now, these few Americans are returning to the USA and will conduct their work from the USA. The Filipino staff will probably be reassigned to job opportunities at the U.S. Embassy itself. And now, some office space inside the embassy is now vacant, available for some other use. Now, the embassy itself will continue to operate business as usual, interviewing visa applicants and processing their cases, also business as usual. The very last local DCF application was accepted by the Manila USCIS office on May 4th. Then they stopped accepting any further DCF applications. And today, well, they're just wrapping up the last cases that they have in the pipeline, and they're packing to move back to the USA. The vast majority of applicants, well, never were eligible for DCF. So for them, for you, there is absolutely no change. And for the few, well, now they will be treated just like the rest of us. The few applicants who were previously eligible to apply locally in the Philippines, well, now must send their applications all the way to the USA and then wait for them to eventually return to Manila, where the interview will be held at the U.S. Embassy, and that is open today, will be open tomorrow, and will continue to be open in July, and will probably remain open as long as the USA and Philippines have diplomatic relations. This was Fred Wahl, the Visa Coach. Now, if you haven't done so already, well, please subscribe to this channel. This helps others just like you find us. And then please like or add your comments to this video. And please then go to VisaCoach.com and sign up for the VisaCoach monthly newsletter. Each month, it's full of tips and advice on marriage-based immigration, and it's free of charge. And when you sign up, well, you'll get 2 free ebooks that I have written, 120 K-1 visa interview practice questions, and 5 things you must know, well, before starting on your visa. Now, finally, when you are ready to get started and start working with VisaCoach, please call for a complimentary case evaluation and speak with me directly.
If you are considering hiring VisaCoach to personally guide you through your immigration adventure, join him for a complimentary case evaluation. He listens to you to learn the red flags and strengths of your case, your eligibility and goals. He suggests which visa is right for you, the best strategy to get it, and how soon your partner can join you. To learn more about VisaCoach's services and how he can help you, book your free case evaluation today.